Okay, so in the last video about GoPro's Mission 1 series of cameras, I covered the potential for slow motion. In this video, I want to focus on lenses and discussion about the Mission 1 Pro ILS and whether or not the criticism over the lack of electronic contact between the camera and the lens is actually warranted or not. So the first thing to consider about the camera and the potential for electronic control over focus and iris is whether or not it would have added a lot of time to the development. Developing an autofocus system is no easy thing, particularly if you want it to compete with the intelligent options that you see on the likes of Sony and Canon and those sorts of very advanced systems. Starting from the ground up is going to take time and probably a lot of our R&D to achieve. And GoPro is not a big company. I have to reiterate that. It's only around 600 employees. So, you know, it's tiny compared with the likes of Sony, Canon and DJI and all those companies. So, you know, that's one thing we have to consider. The other thing is we can look at what other companies do, and specifically Blackmagic Design. Now, Blackmagic Design's cameras have not had advanced autofocus ability until now. It's only with the recent Cinema Camera 6K that that's been possible. All the other cameras in Blackmagic Design's range have a single press autofocus and that's it. They are much more suited to manual lens operation. And this was a case going all the way back to the OG Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, which I owned at the time. Now, the OG Pocket Cinema camera could control the iris on the lens, so you could mount any Micro Four Thirds lens to it, but it was done with the use of a fiddly little button. And to be honest, when it comes to using a camera, if I'm not self-shooting, if I don't need the camera to do selfie shots and autofocus in that way, if I'm using the camera traditionally, I always prefer to have a manual focus and an iris ring. An iris ring is a much better way to control the exposure, in my opinion, anyway. So I would much rather use an iris ring rather than a fiddly little button or a dial. And, you know, if we look at the size of the body of the Mission 1 Pro ILS, where are you going to put a physical dial that's easy to use with gloves on and all that sort of thing? It's going to be much easier to use a manual iris ring on the lens barrel itself. Now, I do understand that a lot of people these days do use autofocus, but as I say, from my own personal usage and the way in which I use cameras, the way I've been brought up to use cameras and trained to use cameras, it's not a big deal for me. It only becomes a problem for me if I need to be self-shooting. And I don't think that the Mission 1 Pro ILS is really designed for that sort of purpose. You could use it as a travel vlogging camera in a certain way, but it's not really being designed to put on the end of a selfie stick or to do the sorts of things you might do with the DJI Osmo Pocket series, for one example. Instead, vlogging and selfie shots will be the kind of thing you'll be shooting with the Mission 1 Pro and the Mission 1 cameras instead. The more pressing thing when it comes to the fact that there's no electronic control over any lenses is that it does restrict lens choice, because most electronic based lenses do not have a manual iris ring. So that's the main thing when it comes to the Mission 1 Pro ILS, is that you are going to be more restricted in which lenses you can use with it. But there is still a lot of choice out there. So when it comes to current lenses, you have manufacturers such as Laowa, you have TT Artisan, and they're very affordable lenses. And, you know, for the price, you know, they're not going to be the absolute best of the best optical quality, but they are pretty well regarded for the price, and they are super inexpensive as well. If you really have money to burn, then, you know, you have Voigtlander and Zeiss, but for the size of the camera and the sort of use it's going to be put to, I kind of see it as a modern day OG Pocket Cinema camera, and so I'd want to keep it as light as possible. So I'd probably use very lightweight prime lenses on it, and for that, you know, there are plenty of vintage lenses around. Now, I have some Pentax primes from the 1970s and 80s that I use with an L-mount adapter on my Panasonic S1, and they have beautiful image quality. I have a 50mm f1.4. I don't have the much sought after f1.2, but these were passed down from my dad. You know, he used them back in the day. So I really like using those lenses on a modern camera. They're super sharp at f5.6 as well. They're absolutely fantastic. And, you know, there is a big used market for these sorts of used lenses. The great thing about a Micro Four Thirds mount is that it's really highly adaptable. So you can take these vintage lenses and buy a really cheap adapter for them. Obviously, you're going to have a crop factor of around 2.7, which is pretty large when you mount these lenses onto the camera. But on that note, I am fairly confident that a third-party manufacturer will make some sort of focal reducer. Now, if you're not aware of what a focal reducer is, what it does, it's a piece of optics that goes between the lens and the camera, and it kind of focuses the entire sort of lens imaging area down onto the smaller sensor, so you get less of a crop factor. There used to be one I used with my OG Pocket Cinema camera, and it didn't completely erase all of the crop factor, but it got rid of most of it, and it was really high quality. And I'm fairly sure that a third-party manufacturer will come up with something like that for the GoPro Mission 1 Pro ILS camera. Other fun options could include the lenses from the likes of Lensbaby. They make a range of Micro Four Thirds lenses as well for very specific purposes. They give different effects, and they also have tilt shift lenses as well. One thing that I'm really looking forward to is the opportunity to use a macro probe lens with the camera. Because of the crop factor, you're going to get an absolutely immense magnification factor when it comes to shooting, you know, things like insects and other tiny little critters. And the slow motion abilities of the camera as well will give you so many creative options for being able to shoot those, you know, little insects and tiny things you just wouldn't be able to see otherwise, particularly if they, you know, they're fast moving. So I'm really looking forward to being able to experiment with the camera in that way. I don't think we should really get caught up in the whole thing about the autofocus and the iris. And yes, it does mean that if you already have a collection of Micro Four Thirds lenses and they are electronically based, you won't be able to use them with a camera. So, you know, I can see how that would be annoying for some people, but we have to look at where this camera sits, what it's actually aimed at doing, and also being realistic about the R&D schedule for it as far as GoPro is concerned as well. If you really need autofocus, then this isn't the camera for you, obviously, and it's probably not designed for the purpose that you might be wanting to use it for, much as you might want to use it for that purpose. You know, it's understanding where this camera really does fit in. And as I say, for me, I think given the tiny body, if you can get a really lightweight prime or two for it, then I think it's just going to be an extremely portable cinematic device. Like I say, very much like the concept of the OG Pocket Cinema camera, except with incredible slow motion abilities and the ability to actually put it in your pocket. The original Pocket Cinema camera might have been called a Pocket Cinema camera, but I can tell you now it didn't fit inside a pocket. The GoPro, on the other hand, probably will. So I think we should be focusing on the positive aspects of the camera. It's very easy to get caught up in what it doesn't have, but let's look at what it does have. It does have those incredible slow motion abilities, and we can use lightweight primes with it. And as I say, for me, it doesn't really bother me that it doesn't have autofocus. I like manual focus and I like a manual focus ring, but I do understand why some people are a bit put out by the fact it doesn't have an autofocus on it, particularly if they already own lenses that they were thinking of using with the camera. So I do understand that, but it's not really the end of the world. You know, different cameras will suit different people, and you know, if this one doesn't, Maybe the next one down the line will have some sort of autofocus ability on it. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, those are my quick thoughts about the GoPro Mission 1 Pro ILS and the lens options for it. If you haven't already seen my video about the slow motion capabilities, then please do check that out. And as per always, if you do like my content, give the video a like and hit the notification icon so you get notified about my latest videos straight away. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And I will see you all in the next video.